All right. Some significant technical difficulties this morning. Hopefully, hopefully you guys will get back online with me. All right. Thanks for letting me know my mic didn't work. Sorry, I was about 3 or 4 minutes in with no audio. I'll have to definitely watch for that. What I was talking about this morning is, today's Thursday, February 9th. I was about 3 or 4 minutes into my live stream when I realized I didn't have any audio, so I'm going to start fresh right here. 6:07 currently. Today's Thursday, February 9th, 2023, day number 40 of the new year. Let's make today count. I was going to talk about a little bit of light change this morning. On a macro level, for me, I had made a decision for some life change back in 2011. Man, I hate that I have to do all this all over again. But I guess it is what it is. All right, Robert, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I'm sorry it took me so long to see your comment. I was about 3 or 4 minutes into the live stream, and I guess I just needed to reboot. So live and learn, learning as we go. I should have made sure I had audio before I went live, and then I was on the wrong scene this morning, so lots of fumbles. Anyway, here we go. It's Thursday, February 9th, 2023, day number 40 of the new year. Just want to check in and see how you're doing. Are you on track? Do you know where you're going? Zig Ziglar used to talk about don't be a wandering generality. We have to know where we are. We have to know where we're going to get there, right? Like if I was gonna go to Australia and I was gonna leave down here from Los Angeles. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Robert. If I was gonna get on a boat here in Los Angeles to go to Australia, if I just get in the boat and just take off, am I going to end up in Australia? No. Who knows where I'm going to end up? I would be, like Zig Ziglar said, a wandering generality. We have to have an end point in mind. We have to it's like a GPS, right? Like we put in a GPS, our destination, and it gives us like turn by turn instructions how to get there. Is there more than one way to get there? Yes, there's more than one way to get there. But no matter which way we get there, we have to make certain steps to get there. One of the books I'm going to talk about this morning a little bit is The Thoughts of the Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And what he talks about in this book, let me just go ahead and read this. Tony Robbins does a little introduction here. He says, little everyday decisions will either take you to the life you desire or to disaster by default. It's the littlest decisions that shape our lives. And then what Darren says here, small, seemingly insignificant steps completed consistently over time will create a radical difference. And that's the thought I want to share this morning. If we want to make some life change, we can make a very tiny pivot and take that tiny pivot consistently, small, consistent steps daily over time can take us entirely somewhere new. I made significant life change in my life back in 2011. I wasn't happy with how things had become. I was very blessed. I had a ton to be thankful for. I had a beautiful family. We were healthy. We had good jobs. But life had just become mundane, monotonous. I felt trapped. I felt like I was in this cycle of like Groundhog Day where I was getting up, going to work, coming home, eating dinner, going to bed, getting up, going to work, coming home, eating dinner. It was just like this routine, life had become this mundane routine. And I was just like, man, I want something. That's when I had the thought, there's got to be something more to life than this. And I was just like, I wanted something new. I wanted something adventurous. And then I had this thought that like, hey, if I'm going to work, I want to do God's work. But then a friend of Bobby's gave me a book by Tim Keller, who's actually a pastor in New York City, who's planted a church there, very successful church plant pastor. And he shared this idea from Martin Luther that there's no hierarchy of jobs. Like no matter what we do, like a priest is not up here and like a grocery store worker is not down here. Like no matter what we do in life, we can do it to the glory of God. Like we can be kind to others. We can show love to others. We can do our best. We can live our life well. Like we can serve God no matter what we do. It doesn't like we don't have to be a pastor to serve God. No matter what we do, we can serve God. And so he shared that thought. But then still like, that decision, I started, hey, Lucas, all right. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Audio's back. Yes, it was so weird to have to start over from the beginning and But I appreciate you being here, Robert. I appreciate you. I'm gonna look. I can share these comments now. Watch this, Robert. No worries. You got this, Lucas. Let's see if I can get Lucas on here once Robert goes off. There we go, Lucas, giving me a salute. Lucas, I appreciate you, brother. But yeah. So, for me, on a macro level, back in 2011, I made the decision to start seeking God for my life instead of my own will, and that led us to adopt a child. It led Bobby to go on her first mission trip, which she never had a desire to do. It led me to go on my first mission trip, which I had always wanted to do, but never could figure out a way to do it. And then it led us to sell everything we owned in Tennessee and rip our whole lives up. We have very deep roots there. All of our families there. Our kids have been in one home their whole life, one school their whole life, one church their whole life. We had our home there for 16 years, 3 kids. We cleared everything out, sold the home, and moved here to help start a new church, to help share the gospel, to help change people's lives. And then for me, what's next for me, I feel like, is finding life. Finding life feels like a calling. It feels like God's calling on my life, and that's what I'm here to do. So what are you here to do? My whole message is I want to live my life true to me, and I want to help others live their life true to you. I want you to live your life true to you. I'm really fumbling over my words this morning. I was on the wrong scene this morning. My audio wasn't working, and it's got me all fumbled up, but it's all good. I appreciate the support. The point here with this morning message is life change is possible. All it takes is tiny pivots. A tiny pivot, small steps, daily, over time, can take you somewhere entirely new, right? All right, that's the morning message. Today's word is very good as well, as always. It's actually the first message that I gave at Echo Church back at Thanksgiving last year. So let's get into the word. All right, February 9th, Matthew. Then Judas Iscariot, one of the 12 disciples, went to the leading priests and asked, "How much will you pay me to betray Jesus to you?" And they gave him 30 pieces of silver. From that time on, Judas began looking for an opportunity to betray Jesus. On the first day of the festival of unleavened bread, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Where do you want us to prepare the Passover meal for you?" "As you go into the city," he told them, "you will see a certain man. Tell him, 'The teacher says, my time has come, and I will eat the Passover meal with my disciples at your house.'" So the disciples did as Jesus told them and prepared the Passover meal. When it was evening, Jesus sat down at the table with the 12 disciples. While they were eating, he said, "I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me." Greatly distressed, each one asked in turn, "Am I the one, Lord?" He replied, "One of you who has just eaten from this bowl with me will betray me. For the Son of Man must die, as the Scriptures declared long ago. But how terrible it will be for the one who betrays him. It would be far better for that man if he had never been born." Judas, the one who would betray him, also asked, "Rabbi, am I the one?" And Jesus told him, "You have said it." I love how Jesus, a lot of times people ask him questions. A lot of times he answers questions with questions, or gives an indirect answer. As they were eating, Jesus took some bread and blessed it. Then he broke it in pieces and gave it to the disciples, saying, "Take this and eat it, for this is my body." And he took a cup of wine and gave thanks to God for it. And he gave it to them and said, "Each of you drink from it, for this is my blood, which confirms the covenant between God and his people. It is poured out as a sacrifice to forgive the sins of many. Mark my words, I will not drink wine again until the day I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom." Then they sang a hymn and went out to the Mount of Olives. Robert, tell me the hymn they sung. I know you told me in the past. Tell me again. On the way, Jesus told them, "Tonight all of you will desert me, for the Scriptures say, God will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have been raised from the dead, I will go ahead of you to Galilee and meet you there." Peter declared, "Even if everyone else deserts you, I will never desert you." Jesus replied, "I tell you the truth, Peter. This very night before the rooster crows, you will deny me 3 times that you ever know me." No, Peter insisted. Even if I have to die with you, I will never deny you. And all the other disciples vowed the same. Then Jesus went with them to the olive grove called Gethsemane. And he said, sit here while I go over there to pray. He took Peter and Zebedee's 2 sons, James and John, and he became anguished and distressed. He told them, my soul is crushed with grief to the point of death. Stay here and keep watch with me. He went on a little farther and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine. Then he returned to the disciples and found them asleep. He said to Peter, couldn't you watch with me even 1 hour? Keep watch and pray so that you will not give in to temptation. For the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. Then Jesus left them a second time and prayed, my Father, if this cup cannot be taken away unless I drink it, your will be done. Then when he returned to them again, he found them sleeping, for they couldn't keep their eyes open. So he went to pray a third time, saying the same things again. Then he came to the disciples and said, go ahead and sleep. Have your rest. But look, the time has come. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Up, let's get going. Look, my betrayer is here. All right, thank you, Robert. So as Jesus and his disciples were walking to the Garden of Gethsemane, Robert says, they sung, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. Thank you, Robert. This passage is really the most powerful part of Scripture to me. Like Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus was begging God for there to be another way of salvation. He went and prayed over and over again. He was praying all night long. He was sweating blood. He was in anguish, distress. He was begging God, God, if there is any other way, please take this cup from me. But what was God's answer? He said, there is no other way. You are the only way to salvation. And to me, that's just like so powerful. Thank you, Robert. Psalm 118. All right. Today's psalm is actually, we're going to read 31 today, Robert. How great is the goodness you have stored up for those who fear you. You lavish it on those who come to you for protection, blessing them before the watching world. You hide them in the shelter of your presence, safe from those who conspire against them. You shelter them in your presence, far from the accusing tongues. Praise the Lord, for he has shown me the wonders of his unfailing love. He kept me safe when my city was under attack. In panic, I cried out, I am cut off from the Lord. But you have heard my cry for mercy and answered my call for help. Love the Lord, all you godly ones, for the Lord protects those who are loyal to him, but he harshly punishes the arrogant. So be strong and courageous, all you who put your hope in the Lord. All right, Proverbs. This is wisdom speaking. This is wisdom speaking in Proverbs. Common sense and success belong to me. Insight and strength are mine. Because of me, kings reign and rulers make just decrees. Rulers lead with my help, and nobles make righteous judgments. I love all who love me. Those who search will surely find me. I have riches and honor, as well as enduring wealth and justice. My gifts are better than gold, even the purest gold. My wages better than sterling silver. I walk in righteousness and paths of justice. Those who love me inherit wealth. I will fill their treasuries. The Lord formed me from the beginning, before he created anything else. I was appointed in ages past at the very first, before the earth began. I was born before the oceans were created, before the springs bubbled forth their waters, before the mountains were formed, before the hills I was born, before he had made the earth and fields and the first handfuls of soil. So wisdom, back before the creation of mountains and hills and oceans. That's Proverbs 8:14 through 26. We're coming up on one of my foundational verses, Proverbs 8:35, which says, whoever finds me finds life. And that's wisdom speaking. All right. Guess we're going to call it a day. Hopefully we'll have a better run tomorrow, but this is life, right? C'est la vie. This is life. Hope you guys have a great day. Today's message: live with intention. Know where you are. Know where you're going. If you want life change, make a tiny pivot and take a tiny step each day. Tiny steps consistently over time can take you entirely someplace new. Let me know how I can help you. Thank you, Lucas. I appreciate your support, brother. All you guys, I appreciate you being here. And let's live our lives well. Let's live our lives to the best of our ability. Let's honor God with our lives. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey friend, thanks for watching my video or listening to my podcast. Again, I'm so glad you're here. If you would like more information about finding life, please be sure to subscribe. Don't forget about my free PDF download, The Top 3 Keys to Finding Life, which also includes the one decision that completely changed everything for me and can for you too. I'll have a link to it below. If you would like to help me help others find life, please be sure to give me a like, leave me a comment, a review, share with your family and friends. Any activity I get helps me help others find life. Lastly, don't forget to let me know how I can help you. What challenges are you facing? What are you struggling with? Let me know how I can help you specifically. Leave me a comment, send me an email, or set up a call with me. Until next time, let me leave you with this. There is a common thread that connects us all, and there is more to life than meets the eye. If you have ever felt like there has to be something more to life, you're on the right track. Keep moving forward.
Yeah.